How we doing? Welcome back to the game. And for those of you in the back who didn't get it the first time, my name is Nobody. I'm your storyteller for the evening. This is officially, without a shadow of a doubt, The Dark of Bethany, Season 3, Episode 3, picking up from where we left last episode. Seconds from when the coterie, in their attempt to reroute themselves somewhere safe after the following demise of their former coterie mate, arrive at the truck stop at the Oasis at the halfway point between the two locations. Victim in hand, we dive into the night in question, starting in alphabetical order. This is officially, without a shadow of a doubt, hungry, barking mad dogs. So, with victim in hand, Annabelle, where does that leave you?
That leaves me. Oh, I remember what we were doing. We were bringing this victim to try to feed the gooey man in the back of the truck.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
The gooey man.
the gooey man. So she comes back with this guy, um, and she's like, "Hey, you guys, ready for this party?
Yeah.
Uh, we doing this here?"
Shh. Looks to everybody else. Um, Probably not smart.
Yeah, let's actually I think we parked in a private kind of area, which is why I had to bring this guy back here. Let's see. Convinced them that our car was broken down and we needed help. Maybe?
Uh,
We're gonna go with that. So yeah.
yeah.
So let's see. This guy isn't gonna live, right? So we can just
I
stab him. And,
do we do we need to kill him?
I don't know. Are you guys hungry? This is clearly a conversation we had before this happened because
Obviously. Obviously. It'd be very awkward to have this in front of him.
yeah, no. That's not a yeah.
There's-
So Annabelle's not hungry.
I mean,
Um,
I'm
but
hungry, but it's not going to drive me insane.
well, you don't need hunger to drive you insane. I'm funny.
We had come to the conclusion that he was behaving strangely for somebody that was in sober, but for the most part, we couldn't tell for sure, and all we could do was try to rouse him and see if it worked. But we're
Yeah.
kind of leaning towards he's possibly gone.
All right. Let's say that we brought a glass from your house, India. So I'm gonna so if nobody else is like super hungry, then I'm gonna take this guy kind of off to the side while he's like open the hood of the car, when he starts looking in, I just kind of like lean in behind him and bite him on the neck. And I kind of do this half bite, so he's bleeding into this glass while still being like really really into this. um So like he doesn't notice what's going on. And then I'll like hand off the glass before I lick the wound closed.
Yep, thank you. Do I just
That is quite the feat of physical subterfuge. Would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your dexterity plus subterfuge contested in this particular case? As luring a man for a kiss, well, let's be perfectly honest, most men are in fact very much pigs. So that's a little easy. But pulling off the bite, the emptying of a vein, and the passing it all off without their notice is another matter entirely.
Yep. So I am using lingering kiss on him.
Oh,
So he's gonna be extra out of it. And let's see, Dex plus subterfuge. I got 1.
no,
I'm not very
yeah,
dexterous.
it's okay.
Mhm. Oh.
It's fine. It's fine. We'll just,
Fine. He notices a
yeah,
little
we'll just,
bit. Just barely.
So
we're,
as you all are, India, Joji, Lita, as you all are resting, hiding, skulking, present near enough at hand to be of some assistance, as Annabelle's victim begins to freak the fuck out. Because, a little strange, a little dirty by this roadside with added benefits is all fine and good, but where the fuck is the jelly glass for? What are you doing? Hey, hold on, wait. I ain't got no plans to be nobody's baby daddy years from now. And he's literally freaking out. Not to the point where he's physically pushing her away, but holding her at arm's distance, like trying to figure out what the fuck is the cup for. Why the whole look? I don't know what. Like this is just. It's just so very, very. It is a comedy of errors. It is the post nut clarity hitting before the nut actually happened. It is the very real confusion, and I can't hit a girl, but I feel like I'm oh god. And it is that stumbling, stammering, not into this any longer because now there's something out of left field that doesn't seem or feel right. A quick hookup. He didn't mind whether you were, a guy or a girl or any step in between. That was all fine and good. A little dirty, strange, but why do we have a Welch's jelly glass? Wait, this, um, like maybe I'm not so into this. Like, do you got protection?
Of course I've got protection. Just calm down. It'll be fine. You're gonna really love this. I promise. And she uses awe on him.
Oh no, she has his full attention.
Yeah.
She is the center of everything that is titillating about a random hookup and everything that has the alarm bells when people think back to what happened with Dahmer and Gacy. And
Yeah.
how could you go along with that person? How could you put yourself in that? And it's all of those moments happening at once. The pull towards strange, the pull towards oh my god, this is how movies started. Not even the good ones. Like where's Jigsaw or Leatherface or is this? Am I dreaming? What like something?
So
And
Annabelle
you're the
just
center of the storm.
takes her shirt off and she's like, come on. Don't be such a wuss. you know, you want a good hookup. You can't just be afraid of it. Look, there's nothing in it. It's just a fucking jar. Thought we'd catch some fireflies or some shit, but no, you have to fucking freak out. Come on, baby. It'll be fun. And she just like leans in for another kiss, and she's trying to like, and she leans in and she's like, tell me what your deepest desire is. Right now.
And in the midst of this fumbling seduction, in the midst of this two square pegs attempting to fit into a triangular hole, what, if anything, are the other members of the coterie doing?
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep an eye out and try and make sure nobody accidentally stumbles upon this burgeoning clusterfuck.
All right, with so let's go ahead and roll your wits plus auspics.
Hey, that works for me. No awareness edition.
No.
All right. Do.
India, Lita.
India keeping an eye on the body in the truck bed.
Fuck it, we ball.
And as my Jack Lita was just sitting in the back, kind of, let's back up, waiting for us to get moving again. So that's probably that.
Why? What? Why?
In the grand scheme of things, there is a well-known aphorism, a mantra, if you will. It is, man plans, God laughs. In a different reality, in a different plane of existence, in a different version of this moment, Joji was warily aware of the forces moving, not just in this plane of existence, but every facsimile of plane that's touching, abutting, rubbing against, and lightly penetrating this particular spectrum of awareness. In another situation, in another time, in another version of this reality. Sadly, in this version of reality, as Lita and India watch, as Annabelle all but physically accost to drive home the fact that she's trying to keep this particular victim alive. Joji is caught with the spiraling understanding that you are never alone. There are beings that once were, never had been, beings that covetously watch and are aware of our existence, the bright flame of our emotions, the dark doldrums of our unrealized and uncommunicated expectations. He is aware that in the wide spectrum of all possible things, that quite quantumly and actually, no one is ever alone and no one is ever singular in their existence. The clouds above moving with all due electric charge, threatening to deposit all of their moisture upon the ground beneath them. The ants crawling across the pavement, marching to a beat of their own drum. It is late, it is night, they shouldn't be out, but yet, there they are. The night birds whispering and screaming in the distance. The wan electric lights filtering across the darkness to where you all are, hidden from easy view. That strange melodic sound of a city in motion. The cacophonous din of persons, beings, all sorts of flora and fauna across the various dimensions, the second dimension, the third dimension, the fourth, the ad nauseum dimension, caught up in the teleplay that is this moment. Such a beautiful fractal of reality that he's able to perceive. And at this exact moment, as that plays out, it's been 2 weeks, Matty. 2 solid weeks. 14 nights. 15 technically. Since that horror that was the awakening and rising of the Bruja Primogen of Bethany. 2 weeks since hell came to earth and used her body as its instrument. 2 weeks since you've all been ensconced in Shreveport, settling in, finding your place, finding where you all stand. And in that 2 weeks, in that wild, wondrous fortnight of petty activity, you all being settled, you all realizing that, well, to be perfectly honest, you are here as potential scapegoats. You are here as tools of the will of the people, of the court. The mom in all that time having given one sermon, one teaching, one education after another. In the olden days, countries watched other countries for stockpiling of meat and salt and various other small, nothing ingredients that would be used to feed an army on the move. That's how countries nearby would realize we're in trouble. We should have been doing the same. We don't know who they're going after, and the fact that we don't know whom they're going after, it most assuredly means us. Let's make sure all of our allies are prepared. Make sure, and it was that sort of wariness that helped certain nations and certain empires last as long as they did. And because of that methodology and that ideology, you realize that's exactly what the Tremere are doing. Here are stockpiling salt. The Tremere have their feelers out as many places as possible. And it's quite difficult considering the prince to whom everyone is sharpening their knives is in fact a member of the Chantry. It's an interesting position to be in because one of the foundational principles of the Chantry, of the Tremere as a whole, of the pyramid, is not actively moving against any other member. Yet while they're not actively involved in the plotting, the planning, the carrying out, the Tremere have pretty much thrown their lot in with the rabble, with the soon-to-be new body politic, the new government. The forerunner, of course, being Ollie Smith Johnson's seneschal. Blue bloods always scrabble and crave power. There's the idea of the scourge, the sheriff, Samantha and her army of thin bloods, her SWAT team of thin bloods who carry out her will against rogue members of the court as a whole, all kindred of the city being considered part of the court. There's the Imam, who, let's be perfectly honest, as regent is lord and master of everything that happens inside of the Chantry and connected with it. Oh, fail, there's also Maggie Blake, the insane pervert of a toreador who runs the entirety of the blood trade in Shreveport. And as vital as Shreveport is, controlling the flow of blood, the donors, the juice shops, the low-minded, poor taste baggers. Having a stranglehold on the trade means that she is a power even as she seems to not pursue it. 2 weeks. It's settling in with the understanding as to the lay of the land. What has that meant for Matty?
Matty, are you there?
Okay, it seems as if we're experiencing some technical difficulties for Matt. So while that is hopefully sorted out, we'll circle back around in a moment. While that is happening, while that is yet to be rectified, as you force yourself on your victim, because it's literally come to that, Annabelle, would you be so kind as to roll a dexterity and athletics -2?
Do I even have enough? Let's find out. I got
Oh,
one success on one die.
honestly, you've got a pretty good success rate.
Yeah, sure.
Yo.
Welcome back. There is a there is an understanding as to how bad things can be. We all have an expectation as to this is the absolute rock bottom. It can't get any worse than this. This absolutely sucks, but I can survive this. I will outlast this. I will not give in to. And that's usually when the rug is pulled. That's usually when we find out that hell has a basement. That's usually the moment when our senses of self are sorely tested. As your fangs finally, you just fuck this. We're just gonna have to do it the rough way. Bare chested, holding him, gripping him as if he was exactly that food. Damn your nebbish, stumbling, fumbling resistance to this. Your fangs pierce his skin. That salty, unbelievably vibrant red begins coating your tongue. Doesn't take all that much for that delicious, iron rich, just essence of life begins to flow. The magic of the kiss doubled and redoubled by your efforts at the lingering kiss, pouring more of the monster in your heart into him. than the rug pull. And then the whole of where you all are and what is actually out there in the dark reveals itself in the most garish and obliterative way possible.
Oh, good.
Your back feels as if it was literally broken in two, as if it
Ugh.
was split in twain, as the member of the sewer rats reveals himself in the midst of you all, coming to save the day, or more accurately, for you all in this moment, coming to ruin this moment. You hope it's a he, standing at just under 6'5", wide enough that it would quantify as a door. Its flesh a garish color of bruised dead, slack on one side as if the skull was 2 sizes too small on that particular half of the face, sunken in the eye, protruding not because it's actually larger than the other, but because the flesh around it is sunken into the very socket of the skull, which itself, again, appears 2 sizes too small on that half of the face. The one thing that is not 2 sizes too small are its overlarge, shark-like row of fangs. Sharp little needles curve like snake fangs along the top of its mouth. The bottom teeth, these nebbish, chiclet squared things, row after row, the tongue resting against those several rows of teeth, cutting and marring itself, causing this black, ichor, licorice thick vitae to constantly well up in its mouth. And you only know this because as it strikes, it unveils and unmasks itself. The fingers bent as if it was a arthritic elephant's hand. The clothes sagging and flailing with the faint wind. And that stench, how could you not recognize that stench? How was it able to hide that stench? Because it smells absolutely awful. It smells as if you all are bathing in the last vestiges of a corpse emptying its stomach as the 21 grams of its soul glitters away. Muffled,
That-
strangled roar of it as it bats Annabelle away from her victim. Something you won't forget.
Swamp Thing has come here to fight climate change one kindred at a time. All right, well, I guess just as Joji comes back from his trip around the rainbow, notices this thing, he's gonna from wherever he's at, just, oh fucking god, what is that?
Oh god. No, god, it's
We need to run.
Mhm. That's a good idea. She's trying not to throw up. Um. Ah.
Sorry. You driving or what?
Who the fuck are you?
Joji's just gonna make his way over to Annabelle and try and interpose, seeing that she's been hurt pretty severely from a mortal standpoint.
She has indeed.
The voice that pours out is a pained, muffled thing. The words garbled together, the syllables blending into one singular solitary thing. As a watcher of people, as a studier of emotions, all of that academic shit falls by the wayside. It's angry, but most kindred are. It's having a hard time communicating, but so does everyone. the curiosity as to whom it might have been or who it thinks it is, dancing there at the tip of your tongue, spurring you forward to try to embrace this moment, to get something from it, some draught of wisdom or knowledge. And Joji, as you stand for it, you realize how short you actually are. As you stand before it, you realize how massive it actually is. As you stand before it, trying to find the beauty in this moment, because there's beauty in every moment, no matter how horrific. And coming up empty is a painful thing. The many rows of teeth, the viscous, thick, vitae-tinged saliva that seems to be gumming up its mouth as it spittles and roars. Its size and girth, massive. And you know that with all of that mass, all of that presence, there's got to be something there that is remotely non-hideous. There's got to be something there to keep that depressing, elitist sense of what beauty is at bay. And for the life of you, and the life of all of your victims, this is the first time in several dealings with the Nosferatu where you are coming up empty. Is it? And is flailing and swinging and seeking to further attack Annabelle. Lita, India, as it very much looks as if this is a parable from the Bible. You all grew up with various different iterations and takes on the battle between David and Goliath. And that's very much what Joji looks like. Hopefully he'll be as lucky. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a slingshot. He doesn't have a sling. He doesn't have anything in the way of weapons save, well, his pretty little face. So decisions, decisions, decisions. And as you all come up with your battle plan, if there is one, if your battle plan is not to simply escape by all due means, while you consider that,
That's wrong.
Matty, do you have premonition? Do you have politics and etiquette? Do you have larceny or streetwise? So the machinations that are very much bold, out in the open when you are around, when you are associating with your sire and the cabal of other, and the vizier to the primogen, when the advisor to the upper members of the chantry. Because unlike most places, the primogen here is actually the secundus of the chantry. Reggie is the second most learned and politically savvy Shamir in all of Shreveport, which is saying quite a lot. Carl, her enforcer, her bodyguard, is and has been in your position, the right hand of doom, the presaging of the primogen's anger. Ire Marcus, of course, the advisor to everything that happens above his status, the inner circles of mystery, and the Imam, the regent of the chantry. He has been sitting in the presence of the most educated, learned members of the chantry. He has been in the presence of the cabal of those who are seeking to overthrow Smith Johnson. And while they talk as people in power talk, as if it's a foregone conclusion, as if instead of hypotheses, these are just foundational aspects of the universe at large. The sad truth, most of it has, in fact, gone over her head. Body language and facial tics, the subtextual understanding of it is well in line with everything that she is. But as she's spent a good deal of time there, she's managed to meet Mariella Marshall. She's some hotshot Tremere from out east. And while Matty is expected to be the muscle, expected to be the brute, there as when they tell you, when they snatch away your leash, you are to attack, as they tell you to. You're there to put your body in the way when they tell you to. But until then, you're much like children of old, expected to be seen and not heard. Save Mariella, who makes nice. He understands the situation and asks for your opinion and your input. You keep talking about this place of yours, this mm, borderline watchtower city, Bethany. I'm trying to understand, why would you even want to be there? Like, nothing seems to be happening. Like, everything comes here. Like, where I'm from, it is more like Shreveport than everything that you mentioned about Bethany. It is everything happens there. But I think, like, and don't get me wrong, I think that the remedial course, the remedial city like Bethany would probably help give you time to study, to create rituals, not just memorize what everyone else has already done. Have you had the opportunity of making something, of building something? Because that's how Karna found her way free. She was stuck out there as the regent and the primogen because Milwaukee's so small. And he spent all of that time studying. Do you do the same? Are you trying to get back there, or you quit what they're doing? Like, I've never heard of the Chantry being split like this. Like, they're not actively doing anything, but they're doing so much. They're not stopping, and they know that there's the attempt going to be made on the prince's life. Oh, that's the fact. Look at them putting their heads together. Look at the fact that they're gathering so many ritual components. Look at the fact that they're looking at the whole. you deal with that. It's clear that we are what we do or what we don't do. We are what we tell ourselves we are, and that's what we end up being. You know, that book a couple of years ago, The Secret, that whole idea of what you put out into the universe is what you get back. That the universe does do not understands what you put energy into, what you willed into being through action and word and focusing your spirit. I hear that was put out by some, well, inspired by some anarch out east, somewhere in the suburbs of Chicago. That's what portion of it, but I do know that it's true. Just between you and me. Um, not tying himself so very closely, lockstep with Miss Blake, that her enforcer, or the Harpy, Miguel, is probably going to set up his house to be a victim of a random arson attack tonight. I shouldn't say anything. What the Toreadors do is none of my business. But I don't like bullies, and Miguel seems like such a bully to me. But luckily, I don't know him, so I don't owe him anything. I don't need to go tell him anything or keep him from going home tonight. But the plan is somewhere around the neighborhood of 3 a.m. Miss Haven's going to go into a. If for nothing else, I think it'd be good to go take a picture if I knew him, but I don't. I need to get to the casino. Shane is making me work as a pit boss in the last few hours of the evening. You have a good night. He waves and disappears from sight, moving down one hall, then the next, quickly moving on to get to the casino to make her nightly bread, as the saying goes, leaving you with hours to kill. And as you grab another 2x2 to begin whittling and creating some piece, some object, the art, we turn our gaze back to the remainder of the coterie on their way to Joji's Haven, standing before one of the members of the sewer rats of Shreveport, who's taken a particular interest in them this evening. The muffled and snarled "Moo! Moo!" is annoying, if nothing else, as the attempt to keep a stiff upper lip and not succumb to the very emotional dread of staring into the face of such a thing. Because that's what it is in this particular moment. It is a thing. It is a harbinger of ruin. It is a presaging oracle of doom. And it's hearkening Annabelle, with Joji standing between them. So, long story short, What do, gang? What do?
Uh,
Yeah.
Annabelle like immediately holds up her hands and she's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't know this was yours. You can have them. We'll leave."
Yeah, sure. Get in the car. Get in the
Offering
car.
to
Get in
apologize.
the car.
I'm apologizing. If I'd known this was this was your domain, I would not have um
Yeah, any sense of appetite is gone. You no longer even want to feed. The beast has been quelled by the presence of a Nosferatu.
so anyway, please accept my apology and let's part as ow. I I'm very sorry.
As Annabelle's apologize. Joji.
Um,
What?
he's still interposing himself, but he's like, since she is attempting to go the route of non-violence, he's just kind of one hand extended backwards and aside, pushing her back as he's just ready to, Mr. President, should shit get real. All the while just like looking at the ground in front of its feet and not directly at it because, my God, why? Actually, this thing is proof that God doesn't exist.
That seems accurate.
He's just like, oh my God, let's just get out of here.
And I'd be happy to leave if you want us to leave. It's up to you. And she's,
Do you have your Fate Casting Lots channel open?
yes.
No.
All right, so I'm adding off because I can and it's on. It lets me add my dots and presence to my persuasion. I got
Wait,
6.
Did you use a willpower on a check that you already got 5 successes on?
I sure did. I'm like this guy. He already tried to murder me.
I don't know how to feel about that.
Look, I feel very strongly about apologizing.
Alright, now all he has to do is roll 6 and we've got the unholy trinity.
Aha! God damn it!
I think that one's for me. Okay, so he just really likes you. He powers through me to get to you.
Jesus.
Well, as the attack, actually, as the conversation for such a outsider thing, because yes, that's very much what it is at this point. There's not really a gender to it. It is a monstrous example of what isolation might bring. It is a monstrous example as to what the vitae of Nosferatu might bring. It is
Being nice.
the unspeaking, all singing, all dancing proof that even the most unloved of things craves contact. Craves it so much that in the situation of protecting its touchstone from a distance would unveil itself to the horror of its own heart and those who cast eyes upon it. It very much is a arbiter of single-minded focus of mine. And as it lashes out, clubbing Joji into Annabelle, the normal cries of pain as orbital sockets are shattered doesn't happen. Luckily for you, Joji, you're already dead. The problem being is as it clubs you across the face, sending you spiraling back into Annabelle, the apology getting choked somewhere in the air between cracking of facial bones. As it touched you, you are sure that that cold, almost slick slime that you felt on your cheek was its skin of that huge, humongous, oblong shaped hand. Again, it looks as close to an arthritic elephant's hand as is possible. The fingers melded into these large, tubular things, swollen at the joint and looking as if they are in fact very rictusly locked into that claw-like position. Luckily for you, it was in fact a backhand. Unluckily for you, as many have found when standing toe to toe with a Nosferatu, is they are supernaturally strong. Even above and beyond the natural endless strength that you all have the opportunity of tapping into. Beyond the strength that naturally come with the vitae and the beast that allows you to do things that your mortal human breathing selves might not even hold a possibility of dreaming. Even beyond that, the sheer crushing strength of a Nosferatu is the stuff of nightmares. Many people have literally been hugged to death. Even the pleasure of the kiss not quite meeting up to the sheer pain of the embrace. Would you both be so kind as to take the half damage, increasing your superficial damage to 1 as you all go tumbling back into the body of the truck? As you two go flying as if you were rocketed through the air. Joji, you've been shot before. This very much feels like that. This very much feels worse than that. You've been shot with a 9mm, a 22, a 25, a 380. This feels worse than that. Unfortunately, Annabelle, you have not been shot before, so you have nothing to compare this pain to except for the fact that it is the very definition of pain, with a capital P and N. India, Lita, watching your coterie mates be crumpled like used drinking cans. What, if anything, are you all doing?
Let's forget is kind of good with guns. I'm gonna actually take out my gun and take a pot shot at this guy.
Excellent. Shooting from the hip, would you kind of go ahead and roll your dexterity and firearms?
All right.
Sitting out of the back of the bed to go drop the hood. Because if we drive away, the hood being up is going to be a problem. And then she'll grab whichever of the two is closer as she's coming around the truck and try to drag them back into the truck.
I think we're both about the same because I think Joji's kind of on top of me.
I am, in fact, the top. Thank you for noticing.
You're welcome. What a good therapist does.
Indeed. Very perceptive of you. If only you could convince the swamp thing from fucking clubbing us.
I tried to apologize. It's a good apology.
He accepted your apology and sent you packing. And me.
As you all land in the truck and hear the hood close, there's the only connection between the two is that you hit the truck bed and the squishy remains of your former coterie mate with sufficient force to cause the hood to slam closed.
Uh-oh.
No.
Joji, just get in the truck, get in the truck.
I'm getting in the truck.
Uh-oh.
There is a understanding that only a poor carpenter blames his tools when things don't match with the way that you would like them to. It's a poor craftsman that would blame his tools. But as you pop up, dead to right, an automatic sneak attack on this monstrosity of a thing, literally attempting to beat your coterie into paste, the fact that your gun simply goes no fireworks, no firing pin striking the cartridge in the shit and sending it forward in an explosive manner, causing all sorts of physical pain as the slug buries itself into your target. Nope. Just a simple. It is beyond infuriating. It is beyond every sense of what the absolute fuck. And while you, Lita, are very composed, you're subtle in everything. Your other half is not. Your intrusive thoughts are not. Your beast is not. What's your strength?
I believe 2.
Would you be so kind as to tell me how you would feel looking down into your hands as you absently skim and just are trying to control your temper with your hands shaking, your forearms tense, and the barrel of your gun being bent by sheer frustration at it failing you in this moment?
I think those intrusive thoughts are going to have a pretty easy time.
Yeah. But luckily for you, the click draws its attention. Luckily for you, the click draws its understanding. You pointed a weapon at it. You pointed a weapon in the same general breathing space as its touchstone, which is laying dazed, staring up in horror at what's become of its life. You, you, you would turn your back on your own kind. You would threaten something more valuable than the entirety of the world. Who cares about the cowboy, Eddie Oakley, who's circling around the vehicle, dragging the two who attacked its touchstone? No, you trembling there with the weapon of destruction, aiming at the touchstone. And anyone with any awareness understands the many hundred very violent thoughts, even without being able to make out a raised eyebrow, a clenched jaw, or any of the telltale physical signs of such belabored consideration. The roaring and the one step, as tall as it is, that one step covers far too much ground as it turns and pivots, taking a step, putting itself firmly between you and its touchstone. as Indy is yelling to get in the truck, and attempting to grab both Annabelle and Joji into the truck, it sets its eyes on you. Speaking of setting its eyes on you, would you be so kind, Matty, as to go ahead and roll your resolve and craft? What were you trying to whittle? Okay. Would you be so kind to go ahead and roll your resolve and craft? Sure. That is interesting. You're not sure how you made it possible. You're not entirely sure, but you don't really care either. Somehow, you've taken a 2x2 and carved a brown pelican. Its long neck and extraordinarily long bill. The wings could use a little work. They look more eagle-like than pelican-like. But it, with this bill tucked against his neck, it's a great example. You gotta pat yourself on the back. It's a great example of a brown pelican. Of course, color would make it pop more, but it's definitely something you can sell by the roadside or put it in your window, make a gift to someone. Probably need to sand off the edges a little bit, but for a rough whittling, a moment of just absent-minded carving, that's good. The question is, as you look at it, why don't you make it flying with its bill down? Normally the bill is pointing forward as it soars through the air on its way to hunt or mate, or both, as they typically do. They're not quite as bad as ducks, but they're pretty damn close. Any port in a storm and then some. Small things, big results. Big things, small results. And unlike the usual image of the white, is a specific Louisiana thing. It's a weird sort of bird. They used to call them squadroons or a pouch back in the day because its bill can hold up to about 3 gallons of water, which is massive considering the size. 3 gallons, that's The average gallon's about 8 pounds, so that's 24 pounds of water it could carry around. With all the things, not that it actually does, but the water is used when it hunts. It can gulp down that much and carry that much in its bill to make sure that the fish that it so ravenously craves typically don't realize that they're actually dead already. There's nothing worse than its bill than staring down its throat as it's attempting to gorge itself on fish flesh. The only thing more inspiring about the pelican is the fact that here, well, further south of where you are, it's eponymous. It's all over the state, but it's so ordinary and average that most people don't realize how strange the bird is. It's everywhere. It's like how most New Yorkers feel about pigeons and rats. Even with its elongated wingspan and great height in comparison to other birds and flora and fauna of the area. Dive bombs its prey. The fact that it's able to find its prey from soaring above head to what it feeds on beneath the water's surface. It's a miraculously strange bird, always out of its element but able to blend in. Anything in particular that Matty is studying? Okay. So, is she targeting any member in specific or just another member of the chantry? Understandable. Marcus, as is his nature, bent towards understanding the wide, many worlds that abound. Clears his throat, smooths his mustache, his beard, and watches as you approach. Tunes out the rest of the meeting, the rest of the conversations going on, and focuses on you and what you brought. And as you map out which ritual you are attempting to
Next
study,
step to approach that end goal is.
it is 31 after the hour.
Yeah,
Take a quick 10. And I'm back here at 41 after.
right.
Like the rash you got and your third year at sleepaway camp, we're back.
Wait, that wasn't the rash.
Oh no.
So,
Sleepaway camp, where I surreptitiously contracted several STDs.
surreptitiously, of course. Those toilet seats will get you every time. When we stepped away, it, them, they, whatever it is, Nosferatu was closing, was turning towards Lita. When we stepped away, Matty was consulting with her sire, the advisor to the primogen of the entire Tremere nation of Shreveport. Because let's be perfectly honest, the Tremere really earnestly believe that they are a nation unto themselves. The Tremere as a whole, as a monolith, is as isolationist as you can be and involved in everyone else's business in one shape, fashion, or form. In most cities and most domains, the Tremere are akin to the National Security Agency. They are Homeland Security, the Postal Police, and Border Control. Their fingers and nebulous webs of intrigues wrapping round the domain, interspersing itself through every strata of kindred society. While I would like to say that the Tremere of Shreveport are less that, the truth of the matter is, as a whole, they are the very definition of that. They have eyes, ears, sentinels, and worse, in every corner of kindred society. Usually. So, once more from the top with the feeling as India rushes around the truck to get inside to pull Annabelle and Joji to safety, as they then the Nosferatu closes on Lita to protect their touchstone, and as Matty whittles time away. Though it doesn't need to be said, it is. What do?
Get in car. Vehicle. 4-wheel. Go broom broom.
That is a good plan.
The small neglected child in the back of my head that is playing with toy cars desires for go vroom vroom. There
Who's
was
driving?
Oh,
It ain't me.
India. I'm so glad you volunteered.
It's gonna have to be her because everybody else got their bell rung or they about to be hit. So when she drags them in to the car, she slides behind the wheel and says, "All right, let's fucking go." And on that,
Wait, is Lita in the vehicle?
she never got out. She was in the back seat and she pointed the gun out of the back seat.
Oh, okay, all right. Wait,
Good.
this truck has back seats?
Oh my god, that is not the right question right now. Let's
Sorry.
go. Um,
So, as the driver, India, would you be so kind as to roll your composure plus drive contested by its attempt to smash through the car to get to Lita, to destroy all of that made in America by way of being made in China and then shipped to America to the plant where it is assembled. Country toughness of your truck.
Oh, this ain't good. I only got
Let's
$2.
see what fate has. Let's see what fate has in store.
I'm pretty sure fate hates us. I'm trying to decide if I should do something stupid. Kinda.
Always do stupids.
Alright. Remember you said that.
And what is your stupid?
So Annabelle is gonna grab her little small mirror and try and like reflect it at him or her or it, and muttering something. So she's trying to like kind of distract it with its own horror of itself. And she's setting up a little prayer as she does. Because, we need some prayers right now. As any good ministry would do. Minister.
You should basically kind of just go ahead and roll your charisma and persuasion as high as you possibly can.
At this point, this fucker's gonna get a grudge. We're gonna leave them behind. They'll be like, you know what? No.
I don't think awe applies here. Fuck you, willpower. I got 3.
I'm telling you, leave better enough alone.
No.
The whole.
So,
Huh?
so everything is possible. You may certainly attempt whatever it is that you might dream of. The problem with dreams, they don't have any bounds. There aren't any rules or laws that can be violated in reaching towards them. There aren't any social taboos or stigma attached to whatever happens inside one's own mind. Normally. India floors the vehicle as Annabelle opens her compact. The reflective surface inside catching all sorts of lights and flares of reflected light as the very real push and drive towards some otherness, some offer, some entreaty is made. For a brief flickering moment out of India's periphery, out of Lita's periphery, plainly for Annabelle and Joji, you all see reflected in the space of the mirror Joji's home. You see smiling, lighting a cigar with a USB charged lighter. You see a gang of youths. You see home, Bethany, sitting alone in the middle of nowhere, the highway, the expressway, its main street leading through town. You see the children crawling up out of the tall grass there near the creek. You see the shimmering reflective surface of the light that you all partied around. And you see what it looked like as little as 27 years ago. All statuesque beauty, broad of back, narrow of waist, firm of hip, legs that went all the way up, toned and tanned. You see the night where it happened, where everything ceased to be. Beauty caught its sire's eye. every flickering moment, you see what that death was like. It was not quick. It was not painful. You see the roomy, watery remains of its eyes before it became as it was now, melting away into what remained, tooth after tooth puncturing through the roof of its mouth, tearing up from the soft palate of its beneath its tongue, limbs being swollen and calcified. And whereas normally that would cause anyone to have a tear in their eye, whereas normally that would cause anything to pause, you strike a blow for the cruelest of freedoms in sharing that moment with it, bringing it to the present. And instead of causing a pause or a stoppage of animosity and aggression, as India floors the truck and you all begin to slightly twist and turn as the torque literally attempts to tear the engine out of the vehicle, it surges forward like a catapult unleashed. It's swinging clubs of an arm through the back portion of the truck bed, causing the truck to jerk and lurch, its bed bent and crumpled, the body laying there beneath all of the covered, squishing like an overripe tomato. The jerk and the slamming of the vehicle left and right inside the cab, no one having the opportunity to throw on seatbelts. Would everyone be so kind as to increase your superficial damage by 1
Oh god.
as the truck, damaged and yet not completely broken, continues careening and caroming off of the guardrails down the road away from the slower moving Nosferatu.
That was terrible. Never again. Never again.
Ow.
Can't you say how much I fucking hate this place?
No, fuck everything about this place. Mhm. Ah, fuck.
Joji, you gonna have to tell me where to
Annabelle
go.
is.
I don't know where your place is.
Yeah, just take that exit. No, not that one. 3 exits down. I'll work you through it.
Joji,
So
don't
close to home,
we don't have your reaction speed. Tell us like 30 minutes ahead of time.
Oh, okay. I'll speed it up.
It's, yeah, just tell us early.
Okay. Well, we should have taken that turn.
Yeah, I know.
There's a way to get around it though. We can redirect. Anyways, does anybody have an explanation for why the fuck God seems to hate us? Of all the people that we could have picked, fuck, we just passed it. Of all the people we could pick, we
Joji,
just so happened to go after the one that's got a fucking Nosferatu following them.
I don't know. Probably the same God that was the one.
Speak
Oh my
hang
God,
out,
can you
elder.
be more careful?
Yeah, like 300 feet, you're gonna want to take a right.
She follows that direction, but it's because creeps hang out together. That guy was creepy. He thought he was gonna get some free side of the road pussy, and then you got fucking crazy ass Nosferatu.
You know, just from like a psychoanalysis POV, maybe the Nosferatu was attached to that person because, you know, in the core of their being, they just want to be loved.
That is probably true, and it was probably someone they loved before all that shit happened to them. Did you see that?
I don't want to remember any of it. I can't help but do it, but I don't want to.
Poor thing.
Yeah,
He
I
needs some
know. Thank you
therapy.
for your
I didn't see
what?
nothing but the road in front of us.
What about the road ahead of us?
I said I ain't seen nothing but the road in front of us, and I had already taken your turn. So where am I going now?
You'll see it. There's gonna be like some railroad tracks, and then right past the
Those
railroad
railroad
tracks.
tracks, Joji.
What?
Those ones. The ones we
No,
just passed.
no. We didn't pass the ones I'm talking about. So, he kind of looks at the puddle of Clint. I'm I'm guessing he's just dead.
Yep. Dead enough.
Oh, there it is. There it is. You see that big flashing yellow sign there?
I take that turn.
Oh, no. You're supposed to go the opposite way at that sign. Ah. Okay, we can work this out.
Stop. Pull over.
What's wrong?
Here, this is a map. And I pull a fucking map out of the glove box, and I point to where we're supposed to turn.
I can just point you to where my place
No,
is.
not right now. Just show us the route.
I mean,
So there's not on the fly stuff.
okay,
I really, oh, everything hurts.
Okay, so we are okay with the fact that we figured out our turn is no longer actually amongst us, and it's probably body paste in the back of the trunk.
I am
So
not
we're
okay
okay
with
with
it
that.
whatsoever. I am not okay with that whatsoever. And we've pretty much figured out that it was one of those fucking Tremere that did that. So we just got to figure out who, and then put them in the ground, deep in the ground.
I pull back
Yes.
into traffic and carefully follow directions to get us to Joji's.
Hopefully it'll be easier now that you know the route.
The problem is how we've got so much shit going on. Are we still on board with the plan to kill the prince?
I don't know, man. I'm not sure I ever was. But sure, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You know what? It's fine. I, in the meantime, while we're planning and plotting, I need to figure out what the fuck happened to Clint, or more specifically, who happened to Clint, and we can add that on the to-do list. Um,
So you want me to bring him inside your place, or we leaving him out here?
it's fine. I'll clean up his mess when we're done. Um, and it would be a lot less worrisome for the neighbors if I didn't have a jellified human being parked outside my place.
I think you are wise.
Okay, not too
There is
far
a
now.
cost of doing business
Hmm?
that every kindred understands. True death upon second death, upon the final death that you all face. All of the years of your life, all of the years of your unlife, all of the time spent as an ambulatory corpse is up to you relatively quickly. The older, the longer you've outrun death, the faster. As the one of its kind, your coterie mate survived through several approximate portions of a life, different epochs of their existence, holding different faces they presented to the world at large. There's no way that a kindred who had been a kindred before you all were even dreamed of should be wet, moist, squishy. It shouldn't be a moldering splotch of semi-solid viscous matter underneath all of the camouflage you all put into the back of that truck. Yet the truth of the matter lays plain as part of that splotch that didn't go forward out of the bed of the truck, out of the rear of the truck, onto the Nosferatu, splotched and splashed against the interior rear window of the truck cab. Thick and goopy bits of semi-solid flesh sliding down the window and into the rest of the camouflage material at the back of the truck. The problem with that is that it doesn't make any sense. They'd been dead longer than each of you had ever been. And yet, all the years of their existence seemed to leave them in an over-ripened state, like a whale beached. Seconds, moments, days from exploding as the gases of the respirating meat compounded upon itself, the gas expanding the flesh until it was as dangerous, or is as dangerous as segments of bone and meat, blubbery flesh, and the entire contents of its stomach. And the mirror, always a problem for each of you, to the point where India, much like Joji, does not have a rear view mirror inside their cab. Yet, flashing the mirror, you all were privy to its existence, how it came to be. Another impossibility, compounding one on top of the next. And that, Matty, is how this particular ritual should be carried out. It is much like attempting to find a butterfly's tear. Nominally impossible, but very easily done if you know how. You grasp the basic components that you need, and how best to carry the imagination into the reality of where you are. Ready? Support and inspiration. Yes. Each of the facets of the ritual are part of a mental pursuit as well. The ingredients, the components, help to focus those energies within your vitae and the ghost of what we once were into the reality of where we are now. I'm sure you've heard quite often several members of the Chantry remark on the bodiless dead. We have bodies and yet are still dead. We are not alive. And so the powers of our thoughts equals the power of our actions. We need some focus, some foci that helps us to generate the energy necessary, to draw it out. Realize that so that we might find where the victims of our query originated. You can discern whether one was a child of the moon or the earth-born spirits given flesh, or was the creatures of dream, the imagined realities made manifest. Or worse yet, you can find if one of us, such as yourself or me or any of the others, the point of origination, where the vitae that has helped transfix us in this moment of frozen time carried through each night, originated from. with enough practice and enough focus, you might be able to even discern which tree, which branch that the day originated, and trace it back to its root, one step forward at a time. Through the woods, through the city streets, across the veil in some cases. There are places where the dragon, well, we'll get to that. That's more of an advanced study, I believe. But yes, you may track your prey, your quarry, within range, of course. There was this tracker some years ago, originally from the Seattle area, uh, was profound or respected at least as a tracker of sorts. They mastered this one particular ritual to the point where, as for you, for instance, this may take anywhere from 5 to 45 minutes to the first few times until you have it down pat, as they say. And but this particular kindred, she was in line to be a regent of her chantry, and things went sideways. They were asleep at the wheel, as it were. No matter the potential one has, it's all very much what one applies oneself towards. And, well, she had the gift of tracking and sourcing quarry. Well, nothing was done with it, of course, and their chantry fell, and last I heard, they were headed somewhere out east, northeast to be, as carpetbag, or sticking to carpetbag areas of the nation in which we live. But yes, you could track your victim, because that is what they would be. Your focus, making them the prey. This is a relatively middling sort of ritual. Why are you interested in at this particular moment? Considering all that you might be privy to, considering all the information that you've been allowed to absorb, why this particular ritual now? I see. Are you sure there isn't a ulterior motive? You're not confident in your associate's drive to be assistive in what it needs doing, are you? Whose ties in particular are you worried over? Ollie's enforcer is your coterie mate sire, or your prince? Yes. Good leverage when there is belief and faith in another's good standing. It is not necessarily a factual consideration, as you understand. The vast majority of Bethanites are considerably lower on regard. There's no reason to overly worry over what Prince Carlson Garcia might eventually get up to. There's not a political drive in them. They're Prince because it is, to be honest, as high as they might reach, a small nothing. A village masquerading as a town. It's good to be prepared, of course. But do you think that we might need to utilize that leverage with more control so that you don't have to hunt them across the land? Liability. Hmm. To put a very fine point on the matter, if you believe that they are liability, it will stand in the way of progress, will stand in the way of the betterment of Sri and its outlying domains. It falls to you to protect the will and wish of the Chantry. You know them. You are able to utilize your knowledge of them to ensure that you are successful in laying them low. But you have brought this to my attention. It is my unfortunate responsibility to bring this notice to both the Primogen and the Regent. I can perhaps save you and grant you a full night so that you might tie up all assurances. But that would be the most that I can do. This is a matter of great import that we are successful in allowing the others to dispatch Smith Johnson. Have no doubt that this is for the betterment of the Chantry and the city, in differing values, of course. So, what resources do you need to either assure their loyalty to the plan and their position within it, or dispatch them? Yes, but then we would be sparing potential enemies. So, this is a matter that must be rectified before we move forward. Either verify their loyalty to the plan and assurances that they will complete their portion of it, or dispatch them. What happens at that point is, of course, left to your judgment, as you know them better than we might. You've spent enough time gathering intelligence on their behaviors and their pressure points. Do go find them. This is your mission, this is your task. And I will provide a stall before the Imam and before the Regent and the Primogen decide to take notice. Ability directly upon you to So long as the challenge doesn't require you to apply yourself, never. Digging deep is not something that comes natural to anyone. No one wants to fight, everyone wants to win. It's a natural compunction. Even amongst us, the truly deserving of forever. One day soon, I hope that we might be able to discuss how we came into being, which hermetic order was the foundation of all of that lovely glory within this static reality. That's another matter for a different conversation. For now, are there any resources you need to complete your task? It has to be understood. The city is quite large and easily confusing to others. But as you've associated with them and you've been to their havens here in the city, it's expected that you would understand where they might be. Wasn't there a central location of one of your members that you all utilized? And didn't you understand, didn't you? What you were seen at the Toreador's businesses here, as well as the Hakadas. So the choice of which haven or which location you would be pursuing is entirely up to you. Do you need any other assistance or tools to assure your success? Excellent. So I look forward to hearing your report no later than midnight tomorrow. As Matty leaves her sire, to which haven associates of her friends of her coterie would she head? It sounds like a plan. Heading to Joji's haven here in Shreveport. This little, comparatively small shop of operation. This foothold into and onto the grand stage of Indra society. As you head there, India, Joji, Lena, and Annabelle finally arrive. The
Okay.
squished portion of their coterie member laying in the back of the space. What do?
I spent the last like several miles healing.
I'm I'm going to, pull out the good old key ring and kind of just, all right, go around the side there. I don't want to be bringing this to the front door. And he'll kind of hop out the back of the bed of the truck and walk his way up to the kind of larger side door meant for bringing in shit that can't really go through the front. Prop it open. I've got some plastic tarping that we can wrap him in. I guess might
We should have left him on the fucking roof.
on the roof.
Yeah, for the sun.
He's already. I don't. I don't think the sun does anything to us once we're like dead. Dead.
Can't hurt. Maybe
mean-
it'll purify him or something.
Sure, we can test that theory, but like, what happens if one
Yeah,
of the
no, tarp first. We'll get him in. I'm not sleeping with that thing in the same place.
like the same building?
Well, certainly not inside the same.
He kind of just rolls up the door and is like, "Look, you're not gonna have to fucking spoon the corpse."
Okay. You really want that to be in your haven with you?
I
Have you
I
paid
have
attention to how fucked we've been lately?
I want to bring your attention to the fact that I have seen something far worse comparatively tonight.
Yeah, but that fucker's not staying in the house.
I'll I okay, fine. I'll get a container for him or something until
Thank
we
you.
can bury him.
Thank you.
Fucking weird people. He says as he walks into the building.
Oh shit.
Shit.
What?
No.
What?
I could
What
just
now?
move it.
Do I need to come back outside? Is everything okay?
Things okay. Your finger. Just move.
Wait, what? He says as he comes back out. He moved?
You see what I mean? Not sleeping in the same place as me.
Wait, if he moved, that's great. That's actually
No.
a great sign. Here, help me get him in.
Oh my
I
god.
don't think anything is going. It's going. He's not one of us. He's bloody. Maybe not snatch. I don't.
I don't know either. But as far as I'm aware, like Clint was. I mean, unless this isn't Clint, but it looks too close to Clint.
Yeah, I don't think it's them anymore. I remember when I was saying last time, this is not your friend, this is a trap.
Yeah.
Yes, still true.
Okay, are you. Is it going to start. Like, is the corpse going to get up and start attacking me? Is that what you're assuming?
Yes.
What, do you want me to just set it on fire out here?
Yeah, you got a fire pit?
We're in Texas. Everybody has a fire pit.
Okay, that's fair. You never know with this Freeport bullshit.
Alright, fuck, well, at least help me carry him around back. And then we can just, I guess, fucking light him up. Hey, India, do you think you'd go inside and look for my petroleum can? It's a kind of brownish, was once red, but is no longer can in there, the metal one. Okay, well,
You want
doctor?
me to help you? Sure, I'll take an ankle.
I mean,
Like,
like,
Annabelle is like the weakest person you know. Like,
what
physically.
exactly do you think I am, Doc? I'm not like, oh, I should be down.
You should have sent me in for the petroleum and had India carry this thing. She's the strong
I
one.
could have India fucking manhandling a corpse. It's nasty.
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
mean, oh my god, at least they'd be able to lift it.
I mean, you can participate.
Yeah, if it's gonna get this thing out of here, I will participate.
I mean, who knows? Like, it might fall to pieces, and then you can transport it bit by bit. Either way, just come on. Like, you gotta fucking move it before it wakes up.
All right.
Oh,
And she attempts to help. With her one strength and her 0 athletics.
yay. She just kind of. Oh, what is this? What is this?
No, no, no. I don't like that result.
Wait a second. When did I roll?
Yeah, you got rolled 4.
Oh no.
It is a lovely night despite how the beginning and the middle have worked out for you all. And despite the slosh of vitae and semi-solid bits of person that's left, because as you go to take the arm and pull the chest and whatever you can of the wholeness of the body forward, the forearm separates from the elbow. The moist, sweaty, vitae tinged and soaked hand in yours is surprisingly warm. It's not that cold, snail like gel of mucus. It's the very warm sweat of exertion in the palm of your hand. Holding on to the left forearm with the wrist connected to the rest of the hand and the sinews and tendons that were once connecting the forearm to the elbow and down the rest of the arm, swinging freely, droplets of blood emptying the vessel that you're holding onto the ground beneath your feet. Luckily for you, it's not hard packed dirt and it's not gravel. It's actually a concrete drive that you're standing atop of. And thankfully, that's a little easier to spray down and hose down, save where it hits the concrete. There's almost an immediate brown staining, as if the blood is older than the concrete itself. It has been allowed to sit for years in the sun, baking into the concrete. Outside of that, it's an easy to fix thing. The scent of Kindred Vitae, its ironing melon sweetness, reaches your nose, and there's a understanding as to there really is no point in it all going to waste. After all, it is still mostly fresh and drip, drip, drip of it. How did the body get so much of vitae in it? Normally, when you all see when you meet your final moment, everything begins to dry and desiccate, much like the body would have been or would if it had been allowed to sit where you all take your last and final tour around this mud ball. It's as if the body had been there the entire amount of time that the kindred had been around. Yet this holding what you're holding in your hand, there's easily, I don't know, 5, 6 pints of the stuff just splattered all over the bed of the truck, dripping from separated forearm in your hand.
Mm, I don't like this.
So
Yeah,
we where's the fire pit?
it's that little
The-
deviation in the dirt over there, the one surrounded by
Yep.
stones.
She's I I guess All right, let's drag it over there, and we'll come back for the arm.
Yep. You know, you being a doc, I thought you'd be a bit more used to this than I am.
I'm not that kind of doctor. When have I ever taken you apart? Except, mentally.
I was about to say. Okay, well, anyways, it you said you can't really do too much on this side, so I mean, if you just want to go get the arm, I'll try and hoist the rest of him over there.
Why does it smell good?
He's weirdly like, I think, is plushy the word? No, plushy's not the word.
I mean,
Bulbous?
kinda is.
Bloated? No. I don't know how to describe it. I'm going to stop thinking about describing it, and I'm just going to power through it.
That sounds like one of the smarter things you've ever said.
Jello. There we go. That's a good descriptor.
Oh, you didn't
Yeah,
have to
has
say that.
gotten the gas can.
Fuck you, India. Oh, damn.
Yeah, so I grabbed the arm, doing my part
With his parts.
with his parts.
I'll just kind of
I'm like holding
loosely.
it with the the open end up to like maybe contain some of the gross blood that's not gross enough. It should be much grosser.
Have you thought about trying it?
No, I
It,
mean, yes,
it
but no.
really should be. It really should be more disgusting. It should be more off-putting than it is. The constant blip, blip, blip as the droplets land on the concrete and onto the plastic canvas the tarp that you all have, is far too intoxicating because it reminds you of when you were far younger than you are now. And the ice cream truck really wasn't an ice cream truck, it was more of a slushy snow cone truck. And so you get your flavor of choice in that thick, saccharine sweet syrup hitting that ice would cause you to get hotter. The excitement of the truck and the vendor in and of itself, the run across someone's lawn or down the block to where it was sitting and serving its snow cones and ice cream treats with the bubble gum inside. It was the syrup. It was the sweetness of the
Oh,
syrup with the heat of the world around you, knowing that you're dissipate instantly. The moment that you had that snow cone, the moment you had that cup, and could sip all of that cooled, frosty syrup, that sweet goodness that would cause your fingers to be sticky for hours afterwards. The syrup that would stain your tongue all sorts of colors based on which syrup you had. That delicious sweetness.
But yeah, as Annabelle makes it back to the fire pit, Joji is licking one of his fingers.
Joji,
What?
Joji, what? Why did you eat it?
I mean, we're gonna burn it. Might as well taste it a little bit.
Uh, listen. Remember when I said this is a trap? Now you go over there and tie yourself up or something.
Okay.
Getting the
Fine.
body into the fire pit shouldn't be as easy as it is. Luckily, with it falling apart from being splattered by the Nosferatu, makes things easier. All too easy. Like cords of wood you just stack and arrange into the fire pit. And India, what many people don't realize about the animals around you all, that avoid you all, is that each group, each swarm of rats has a different accent. Each grouping of raccoons, they carry a different dialect, and each group of white-tailed deer have a different patois that they use. It's their regional dialects and vernacular, and the language is the same but completely different from one portion to the next. For instance, the horses that have grown accustomed to you that let you near, they speak with more of a French style drawl. It's je parlez-vous versus the ones that you've all imported from Texas and Oklahoma and farther west. I speak a little slower. And it's things like that that you notice in the language of the night around you all. It makes certain understanding a little more difficult because occasionally you'll get a owl or a bat or a night thrush that has come from Oklahoma or Arkansas or has come west from Mississippi or Alabama, and it has a different dialect. And the sounds of the night, those animal noises that everyone looks past, are things that you notice. Shreveport sitting where it is, having a hodgepodge of night languages and the animals around you is nothing new. You've grown annoyed by it, and you've noticed it, but there's nothing you could do about it. But why are you hearing the best you can put your finger on it? East Coast, like movie New York, East Coast from the late 60s and 70s. What the hell?
What? What?
That would make her stop and look around like, the fuck? Say something again.
Now, do you try to return in the language of that particular animal, which was a night bird?
Yeah. She's, it's weird because, like, when you go to a Japanese restaurant, if you speak Japanese, you gotta speak Japanese real good before they give you any sort of respect. But animals, it's just like, oh, she's trying. So, yeah, she tries to answer back.
So, as you all pile bits and pieces of your former coterie mate on into the fire pit, and Annabelle, you begin chewing Joji away because he's licking all of that Melanie sweet goodness. And Lita, as per her pocketbook and the life that she's grown accustomed to, watches as you all work. India begins whistling, but it's not a whistle so much as it is the call of a black crowned night heron. Though her pronunciation is it's a little off, and it's the oh look at you, you're trying. Oh, yo, you understand what I'm saying? And the conversation begins to pick up. Oh, you told her who you talking to? You lucky I don't. And so they're going back and forth. Her and whatever bird is out there that she's whistling and warbling and interacting with. To the Everglades, and so as India is warbling and whistling, and you're stacking and The party parts are squishing like bags of water that are leaking all over your hands and all over your fingers. That melony goodness tickling and tingling the nose. It's one of those things. Your tongue knows what this tastes like. Your soul knows how good it would be to. Well, it's going to go to waste anyway. The 5 or 6 pints that were spilling out and dribbling all over the place are down to like 3, maybe 3.5 pints that are actually in those various limbs and parts. But that's still 3 pints that you could not let go to waste. And Matty, arriving at Joji and the scent of kindred vitae all over the place, what would be the first thing that you consider? Oh, you can definitely hear them. Yeah, you can hear them around the side of the building, in the backyard.
Mm-hmm.
Joji being fucking or handcuffing himself to one of the drains coming down the back of the building, a kind of like metal pipe. He's like, "Oh, you're. I did not expect to see you tonight." The click, 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 click as he tightens the cuff. Welcome.
Yeah.
The doctor asked me to. I mean, I have the
Yeah,
keys.
we'll bring him in.
I also have the keys. Oh, that's Clint, or what's left of Clint.
That is the reason for the handcuffs.
He honestly, really, it's a weird sensation.
What did he taste like anyway? Did it taste good?
Give it a try.
What? I mean, you are weird, but we all are.
And
It's
honestly,
a
it's
condition.
India should be out here soon with the gas, and then we can just say goodbye to Clint.
Is the bird telling me anything interesting?
It's trying to get to the Everglades. I wanted to stop by and see his family on the Gulf Coast, and decided to swing this way because there was something calling into the area, and it's been 5 days, and it still can't really quite figure out, like, should it go to the left, to go back the way they came. But then there's all of the owls that were, working with the ravens in the area, which it found really weird. They thought they had blood debt between them, but the owls and the ravens have been making sure that no bird flies up out of the area, so but no sense of being attacked, just being a fucking visitor. Like, I'm minding my own fucking business, and then all of a sudden they just come out, and he's going on and on and on.
That's crazy. Have you ever thought of just getting in, like, on a car or something, and just like riding in the back of the car, or on the trunk of a car, so that you're not flying, and then they can't attack you?
Do you think a 4.5 foot tall me gonna get on the back of a guy without anybody fucking noticing? It's bad enough they're gonna have to fucking lay low here with all of these owls and ravens working together to make sure none of the other birds leave the area. It's just ridiculous. The bats I don't mind; they're just noisy. But the owls, they could be anywhere. They just pop out of nothing.
That is weird. Well, I got something to do, but it was nice meeting you. And she turns
Nice meeting you too.
towards the back of the house, gets back there. At first, not noticing that Maddie's here, but she looks to the other two. So, did you know the owls and the ravens are fucking working together somehow to keep other birds from leaving the state once they come into the state? They're like attacking things. It's crazy.
I mean, I noticed that they've been attacking other birds.
Hey,
I did not notice.
well, the thing would be is if they were attacking, he's some sort of like heron thing. If they're attacking herons, then they're probably attacking pelicans too. Do we have pelicans around here? I don't fucking know.
I mean, no, actually, Matty, there is like a singular pelican up here. It's
What?
owned by Ed up the street. He takes care of a bunch of birds. I honestly think he captures them in the wild and then brings them back. I feel kind of. He's like a crazy bird guy.
That's fucked up.
It is, especially being as Matty is a Bethanite. And what that means, hunting comes natural. And not natural in the way that you would think. It's not something passed down through the genes, though there is that genetic memory. All times as your old man went hunting, all the time, clean the catch, the clean the kill. There is the understanding of the very fragile nature of the ecosystems around you. So the growing anger at someone misusing an ecosystem, the growing anger as to what that might mean, because that's effectively cheating. Ravens are smart enough to actually stalk their prey as a group, to use tools to harass and harangue. They never work with species outside of themselves. Not bird wise, anyway. They'll work with wolves, they'll work to help the wolf succeed in their hunt, but they won't work with other birds. Birds, as far as they're concerned, are for the birds.
Hmm.
And then combining with the skill of owls to silently swoop through the air, having ravens give out strike locations, guiding other birds into traps laid by owls who can seemingly appear out of nowhere soundlessly. That's the exact sort of thing that is the definition of cheating. It's the definition of playing outside of the boundaries of the rules. So that small scent of fire, of an ember, the cordite of flesh reaching your nose, having you look left and right, and slowly taking in your surroundings, is inciting. It's effectively you stubbed your mental, emotional, spiritual toe. As if someone set a group of spiritual Legos out for you and made you walk across them with freshly exfoliated soles. You understand the very real attacking from an angle, throwing a rock and hiding your hand. You very also understand you are at Joji's house. Joji's a toreador, a new toreador, the new toreador. that you heard so much about not more than a few hours earlier. Very nearly 2:56 in the morning.
Can I uncuff myself now?
I don't know. Are you feeling like you're gonna turn into goop?
No. Because Clint is goopy, or was goopy.
Because he ate some fucking goop.
I tasted. I sampled.
No, I do not know.
I don't also know. Well, either
How does
way,
that
he
work?
unclips himself from the metal bar. That was an interesting experiment.
Because he's a trap. He's not Clint anymore. Well, he smells fucking delicious for one. It is. Have you
He was
seen how
supposed to be.
much blood is coming out, though?
He was supposed to be Topper. He ain't acting Topper.
He, yeah, so here's the thing. Uh, he's already dead?
Yeah, he kind of got further. He got further splattered by an angry Nosferatu. So even if he was torpid,
What do you mean, not that kind of permission? If you're talking about destruction, I'm saying he's already dead.
yeah, he was quote unquote torpid when we got him, and then he was kind of further fucked up by a Nosferatu that we were trying to escape. So, like, he was already dead. Dead.
I mean, if you want to go check,
I
like,
don't
you go.
really give a shit. I'm going to give my friend a funeral in the only way that I really can.
All right, here's the thing. You want to go test it? You should test it.
I mean, yeah,
But
if you can somehow wake up that, he kind of points to the armless corpse. Go fucking do your thing. Eh, all right. What do you need for that?
I mean, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe, uh, maybe the trap is that we are not supposed to get rid of what's left of him.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
Fucking magical bullshit. Look, Matty, if you can talk to Clint in some way, or his spirit, or whatever the fuck that thing actually is, if it's not Clint, then please figure this out for us. Or if you've got to go, I don't know, talk to some of your buddies. Okay. Doctor, hey.
I'm not touching the thing again.
Okay.
India will
Matty,
grab the barrel
you
that
you
he's
grab
in
it.
and lift it.
Yeah. Wait, whoa. Oh, you don't have to
What?
fight for it.
So as you all move towards the fire pit, India, you haven't set down the gas can, which is filled with premium high-grade unleaded petroleum and petroleum-based products. In other words, it's just gas inside. You both crossed the distance from where you were standing closer to the building, putting you all closer to the fire pit. Slightly closer to the fire pit, just a half step behind you all, is Annabelle. Closest to the building is Joji and Lita, for equidistance from the actual building. So as you all get closer to the fire pit and begin gathering the chunks and pieces and the smashed in and, well, splattered portions of your former coterie mate, someone's iHome or stereo comes on. There is a click, 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 as the security lights on the homes nearby come up.
Mm-hmm.
There is the beginning chords, the strings of bum 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 bum.
Oh
Joji's
no.
sprinklers go off. The scent of kerosene is not coming from the gas can in India's hands. And Joji's business goes on the upbeat of bum 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 bum. The home that was his haven and place of business strikes and alights in this beautifully almost white hot pink, orange, and blue flames.
Oh fuck.
You all are unfortunately close enough to be bedazzled and almost blind, especially those with heightened senses, as the building goes up as promised, as mentioned earlier. As the flames immediately engulf the building, and you realize that the kerosene being sprayed from the sprinkler system for the lawn, the fumes of which cause the fire to grow as if it is a demon arising from the skeleton and spine of Bald Mountain. I'd like to thank you all for a lovely episode, and I'll see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.
Mm-hmm.